How's it go, 12? Okay, so we're going on to the second part of the series. We're going to start with example 5. It's saying calculate sigma k is equal to 3 up to 100 of 3k minus 2. All right. So whenever you get a sigma problem like this, always expand it. Okay. So what I like to do, just write it down here quick. So we've got sigma k is equal to 3 up to 100 of 3k minus 2. Okay, so what I like to do is I'd like to just write out what this series actually is. So if I put 3 into here, that's going to be 3 times 3 minus 2, which gives us 7. Plus, after 3 will come 4. So 3 times 4 minus 2 gives us 10. Plus, if I put, so we've done 3, 4. If I put 5 in there, 3 times 5 minus 2 gives us 13. Plus, and I'm just going to go to the very last one. So 3 times 100 minus 2 gives us 298. Okay, so basically that is what we need to add up. Now, I can use that long formula, the one that will be on your formula sheet, or I can use the simpler one. The reason why is because I know what my last term is and I know what my first term is. So I'm just going to use that simpler one. And just remember that this one is not given on the formula sheet. Okay. Now, in order to use this, we need A, we've got A, we need L, we've got L. Here comes the problem. We need to know what N is. How many of these things are we adding up? Okay. So with sigma, if they ever given you a sigma like this, to work out what N is, it's always the top one minus the bottom one. So 100 minus 3 plus 1. Don't forget that plus 1. So top minus bottom plus 1 will give you how many terms are in that series. So 100 minus 3 plus 1 will give us 98. So we have 98 terms that we are summing here. I can now plug everything into the formula. So the sum of 98 terms equals 98 over 2, 7 plus 298. And we get a total sum of 14,945. All right. Example 6 is next. So example 6, I have seen questions like this in exams before, in final exams. So just take note of this, all right? So we need to find the greatest value of n for which the sum is less than 296. In other words, how many terms must we add up here just so that it is just below 296? Okay, it can't be above that and it can't be way below that. We must just get just below that. So how many terms must we add in order for this inequality to hold? So let's write down the question. Okay, so just exactly the same as this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to expand it first. So if I put 1 in here, I get 4 times 1 minus 3 gives me 3, plus if I put 2 in there, 4 times 2 minus 1 is 7, plus if I put 3 in there, 4 times 3 minus 1 is 11, plus all the way to the top. Now if I put n in there, I'm just going to get 4n minus 1. And that whole thing must be less than 296. So basically that's what we must do. Add up all of these things up to some n must be less than 296. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this formula here. Sn is equal to n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1 times d. Now the reason why I'm using this one instead of this one is because I don't know what the last term is. Okay, I know it's just some n. Okay. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work out the common difference. So that gives us plus 4, and so on. Okay, now I'm not going to use this inequality directly. All right, what I'm going to do, grade 12s, is I'm going to work out how many of these things must I add up to actually get a total of 296. Okay, so I'm going to make my total 296. Our A is 3 plus n minus 1, and our common difference is 4. Now, so I've set it equal to that 296, but now just keep in mind that whatever we sum here might not necessarily add up to this, okay? It might be just a little bit less, or it might be just a little bit more, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out the n that will give us that 296, and then I'm going to choose the one just below that, okay? So this type of question you've seen before. I'm just going to start simplifying here. So we get 296 is equal to n over 2. Multiply that 4 in there, we get 4n. That'll give us 6 minus 2, minus 4 is 2. I'm going to multiply up by the 2, take it to the other side, and then multiply the n in. And we get 4n squared plus 2n minus 592. Okay, now this type of trinomial, you can just put it into your calculator and solve, and you will get, and I'm rounding off to 2 decimal places. And this is what I kind of expected. I expected like a decimal, because like I said, we might not get an exact sum of this number, okay? And again, just remember, n cannot be negative and it cannot be a decimal. So straight away, because this is a negative, this is not applicable. So what we found out is we need to add up 11.92 terms of this series to get 296. But there's no such thing as 11.92 terms. So I need to take one just below this. So therefore, 11 terms need to be added. Okay, obviously it's going to be just a little bit less than 296, but that will be the maximum number of terms we can add. That will get us the closest to that. Okay. Okay, last one, I think, guys. Right, example 7. The sum of the first 8 terms of an arithmetic series is 136. The sum of the second and the fourth term is 22. Determine the series. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write down the information that they've given us. They told us the sum of, so this is example 7, the sum of 8 terms is equal to 136. They also told us that the sum of the second and fourth term is equal to 22. Okay, I'm going to work with this one, and just remember that Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 times D. So if I plug that 2 in here, I'm going to get A plus 2 minus 1 times D. That's for that one. Now I need to do this one here, the T4, plus A plus 4 minus 1 times D equals 22. Let's just simplify this. So we get A plus D plus A plus 3D is equal to 22. So we get here 2A plus 4D equals 22. I can just divide through by the 2 here, and we get A plus 2D is equal to 11. So what I can see is going to happen here is we're going to work with simultaneous equations again. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to solve for this A for now, and we will use that in a second up here. So I'm going to call this equation 2. Okay. Now let's work with this sum formula over here. Now remember, your sum formula it will be on your formula sheet. So let me just write it up at the top here so you can see what I'm using. I'm just going to plug 8 into here, and we get 8 over 2, 2a plus 8 minus 1 times d, and that whole thing is equal to this 136. Okay, let's simplify this. So that gives us 4, 2a plus 7d equals 136. Just multiply the 4 in and we get 8a plus 28d equals 136. I can call this equation 1. Now I'm going to sub 2 into 1. Okay, so wherever we see an a, I'm now going to replace it with that. So 11 minus 2d plus 28d equals 136. Multiply in 88 minus 16d plus 28d equals 136. Get like terms together and throw everything else on the other side that isn't a d, and we get 12d equals 48. Divide through by the 12 and we get d is equal to 4. Okay, now remember what the question was. So we need to find out what the series is. So now I've got the common difference. I just need to find out what the a is. Once I've got the a, I can build up the series because I know what the difference is. So I'm going to sub this into 2 to find out what a is. And we get a is equal to 11 minus 2 times 4. So a is equal to 3. So that's my first term, plus, how do I get to the next one? By adding 4, which is 7. Add 4 to this one to get the next one, and so on and so on. And that is your series. All right, grade 12s. What I would like you to do for homework is the second part over here, exercise 1.7, number 3, A, B, C, and 5 for me, please. Thank you.